They say form follows function, but sometimes it follows madness. Welcome back to the channel where we talk the good, the bad, and the baffling of automotive design. Now, we know looks are subjective, and we're not here to crush your dreams if one of these cars lives in your garage. But some cars just miss the style memo. Today, we're counting down the top 10 ugliest cars ever made, no offense. A list of the most head-scratching, eyebrow-raising, why did they sign off on this cars to ever roll off a production line? So strap in, because we're about to take a winding road through some of the most unfortunate design choices in auto history. 10. Fiat Multipla, 1998 to 2010. We start with a car that seems to pop up on every ugly car list ever made. The Fiat Multipla was supposed to be a family-friendly MPV, but it ended up looking like it lost a bar fight with a photocopier. Fiat thought they were being avant-garde, splitting the headlights into 2 layers and slapping a massive curve over the front fascia. But what they created looked like a frog in a motorcycle helmet. To its credit, the interior was genius. 3 seats in the front and enough storage space to move a small apartment. But nobody noticed that because we were too busy staring at its face like it owed us money. Later, models got a facelift that softened the blow. But by then, the damage was done. The Multipla. Practical brilliance buried under visual chaos. 9. Pontiac Aztec, 2001 to 2005. Next up is the Aztec, a vehicle that's more infamous than famous. Pontiac was trying to create a sport recreational vehicle, something for adventurous millennials. What they delivered looked like an SUV assembled from Lego bricks, what in the dark. The front end was a brutalist mess. Hard lines, clunky proportions, and headlights that looked like they were melting. The rear end wasn't any better, with awkward angles and cheap-looking plastic panels. Here's the thing, mechanically, it wasn't terrible. It was roomy, had all-wheel drive, and that camping kit in the back was ahead of its time. But none of that saved it from being voted one of the ugliest cars of all time. Even Breaking Bad couldn't make it look cool. And if Walter White can't do it, nobody can. 8. Nissan Juke, 2010 to 2019. Designers at Nissan asked themselves, what if a frog, a robot, and a rally car had a love child? The result, the Nissan Juke. It looked like it didn't know where its face was. DRLs were up top, the actual headlights were lower, and the whole thing gave off a vibe of sentient kitchen appliance. Weird thing is, the Juke was actually pretty fun to drive, especially in the Nismo RS version. It handled surprisingly well for a crossover and packed turbocharged power. But man, you had to own that look. It was bold, no doubt. It just looked like it was designed by 3 separate committees who weren't speaking to each other. 7. Sangyong Rodius, 2004 to 2013. Now this one's a sleeper, because most people haven't even heard of the Sangyong Rodius, let alone seen one. But once you do, you can't unsee it. Designed to look like a luxury yacht on land, that was the brief. Instead, it ended up looking like a melted SUV from 3 different decades fused into one. The back looked like someone gave up halfway. Windows were shaped like they were cut by hand. And the side profile? An optical illusion of misaligned proportions. Shockingly, it was practical, seating up to 11 people in some markets and packing a Mercedes-sourced diesel engine. But no amount of German engineering could fix that face. 6. Chrysler PT Cruiser, 2000 to 2010. A throwback gone wrong, the PT Cruiser was Chrysler's answer to a question nobody asked. What if a gangster car mated with a jelly bean? Retro design can be tricky, and the PT Cruiser showed us why. It tried to channel 1930s Americana, but ended up with bloated fenders, cartoonish lines, and proportions that looked straight out of a kid's drawing. Inside, it had lots of vertical space, clever storage options, and even a turbocharged GT version that moved pretty well. But on the outside, it looked like it was trying to cosplay as a hearse from Toontown. A cult hit for some, but a style icon it was not. 5. Toyota Will Cypher, 2002 to 2005. Japan gave us amazing cars. Then it gave us the Toyota Will Cypher. Designed as part of Toyota's youth-targeted Will project, the Cypher was a bold swing and a miss. Imagine an urban hatchback designed by Nintendo in 2001. Big, bubbly headlights, a chunky body, and vertical rear lights made it look like a toaster trying to be hip. It did have features that were ahead of its time, like keyless entry and funky tech, but its looks were a deal-breaker. Today, it's a rare sight, mostly known for being the car that asked, "What if cars were Pokemon?" 4. Suzuki X90, 1995 to 1997. We've seen SUVs, coupes, and convertibles. But how about all three mashed into one disaster? Enter the Suzuki X90. It had T-tops, rear-wheel drive, and no rear seats. It was supposed to be a cool, urban alternative to the Vitara. Instead, it looked like someone tried to draw a monster truck from memory. The body was too short. The trunk was an afterthought. And the front end looked like a golf cart having an existential crisis. It didn't sell well, shocker. But it did find a second life as a Red Bull promo vehicle with a giant can on top. Fitting, it was never taken seriously. 3. AMC Pacer, 1975 to 1980. The AMC Pacer was a vision of the future, if the future was shaped like a goldfish bowl. With its wide body and wraparound glass, the Pacer was meant to feel airy and modern. But instead of feeling futuristic, it looked like someone had inflated a Pinto with a bike pump. The doors were asymmetrical, the back looked like it was melting, and it was heavier than it looked. Way heavier. Fun fact, AMC made the passenger door longer than the driver's for easier rear seat access. Clever idea, ugly execution. The Pacer is now a pop culture oddball. Just watch Wayne's World, but let's be real. It's remembered more for its looks than anything it ever did on the road. 2. Reliant Robin, 1973 to 1981 and others. 3 wheels, 0 grace. The Reliant Robin was Britain's quirky answer to affordable motoring. It was cheap to tax and even cheaper to build, but it handled like a unicycle on a frozen pond. One sharp turn and the Robin became a tumbleweed. It looked like a fiberglass rocket and not in a good way. Lightweight? Yes. Lightweight in the front? Also yes. Which is not what you want when your third wheel is the only one up there. Jeremy Clarkson flipping one on Top Gear pretty much sealed its fate in automotive comedy. It's ugly, it's weird, and it's kind of wonderful in its own ridiculous way. 1. Tatra 603, 1956 to 1975. And here it is, the Mona Lisa of misfires, the Tatra 603. Made in communist Czechoslovakia, this rear-engined luxury sedan looked like a Cold War spaceship that lost its manual. Triple headlights, sometimes in a triangle, air vents in odd places, and a body that looked poured from candle wax. This car had style, just not cohesive style. That said, it had a V8 engine in the back and advanced aerodynamics for its time. It was high-tech under the hood. But above the hood, a full-on fever dream. It was beloved by officials in Eastern Europe, but anyone outside the Iron Curtain just stared at it wondering, is this thing upside down? The Tatra 603, a legend in engineering and a lesson in restraint. And there you have it, the 10 ugliest cars ever made, each one a bold experiment. That probably should have stayed in the lab. Some were ahead of their time, some were just trying to be different, and others, well, we're still trying to figure out what happened there. Got a car you think should have made the list? Let us know in the comments. And hey, if you own one of these, more power to you. It takes courage to rock something so unique. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more deep dives into the strange and spectacular world of cars. Until next time, keep your engines running and your designs less confusing. Catch you in the next one.